All right, guys. So now what I want to do is I want to go through the promissory note. So remember, yesterday I was discussing how you would use the promissory note in order to take funds out of your trust. So this is the template that I have for you guys in the online portal, and you should have received it in your email today with your resources. If you don't have it in your email, then go to the online portal under resources and you will be able to find this template, okay? So what we're going to do is when we are wanting to use funds from the trust, then we can issue us a loan. So we learned in the last 3 days that a trustee can take out loans from the trust and can also give loans to the trust, okay? So, for example, we are going to open up a bank account. We just did our board meeting minutes in order to open up that bank account, right? And so now how much are you going to fund your bank account with? You have to make that decision. If it's $1, $100, it's $1,000. So let's just say that you decided to fund your bank account, your trust account with $1,000. That is $1,000 from your personal funds from your personal bank account. And so you are lending that money to the trust in order for the trust to get up and running. The trust needs to pay you back that $1,000. And so this is the way we do it. We always need to have proper documentation and a paper trail. So we're going to issue a promissory note from the trust to us, agreeing to pay us back that initial consideration of the $1,000 that we're using to fund the trust accounts, okay? So this is what we are going to be documenting now. So I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of this. All right, perfect. So now up on the top, we're going to put the actual number of the loan, right? So put the value up here. So I'm just going to do something simple and say that the loan is $1,000. So now I'm going to put the city and state of where the loan was executed, or the city and state of the trust, okay? So you know how the trust has a domicile, it has an address. So go ahead and put the city and state. So I'm just going to put Miami, Florida, because that's where my trust is, okay? And then I'm going to put the date that the loan was executed. So I'm going to put today's date, August 10th, 2023. And if all of that looks correct, then we're going to go ahead and turn that black. All right, and so now it says that that for the value that was received, we're going to name the borrower with the offices located at, and then we're going to put the borrower's address. So in this case, the borrower is the trust. So go ahead and put the name of the trust. And then if you are, so that means that the trust is borrowing $1,000 from you in order to get started. Let's just say that you were borrowing $50,000 from the trust, then you would put yourself as the name of the borrower, okay? And then you would put your address. So in this scenario, since we're opening up our bank account and since we're going to fund our bank account with whatever value we want to add to the trust initially, this is what we are going to document. So the name of the borrower is the name of the trust. So I'm just going to put the business trust. That's what we've been working with primarily. So I'm going to put Love Holdings. All right. So Love Holdings with the address of, and go ahead and put that virtual or PO box address that you have for your trust. So I'm going to go ahead and put my virtual address for my trust. All right. And so it promises to pay to the order of, right? So we're paying back to the order of, and then we're going to put the name of the lender. So who is the lender? The lender is the trustee or whoever whoever is the individual or entity, because it doesn't only need to be an individual, right? So if you wanted your LLC to fund the business trust, then you'll put the entity's name. So you're going to go ahead and put the name of the lender there. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and just put my name for simple reasons. And I'm going to go ahead and put my primary address where I live, 123 Main Street, Miami. All right, and so that is for the principal sum of, and so we're going to actually put it in writing as well as numerically. So we're going to put 1,000 and then we'll put the actual number here, $1,000, and then we'll put a dollar sign in front of there as well, a dollar sign, $1,000. Okay, so, and this is plus accrued interest with an annual interest rate of, and so go ahead and put the interest rate. So how much are you charging the trust in order to lend the trust $1,000? So me, I'm going to charge the trust something simple like 5%. So go ahead and put the so actually put the written and the numeric. So I put the word 5% and then I put the numeric 5 with the percent sign. All right, so that's compounded from the day that the funds are dispersed. Okay, so with that being said, we know that the note is going to be referred to after default to an attorney for collection. So if the trust defaults on the loan, then you're going to take the trust to court. Okay, and obviously that's optional, but we just have it on our promissory note. The next thing is the action for any foreclosures or anything dealing with any collateral. The next thing is the balloon payment with interest is going to be due when and how long. So you can put a specific term there. So if you want to put 6 months, you can put 6 months. If you want to put 12, you can put 12. So I'm going to put 6 months there from the date of the note. So we're going based off of the execution date, which is the date that's on top of here, August 10th, 2023. All right. And then next, it just says that if it's not paid within 30 days of the due date, then the interest rate is going to go up to 18%. Okay. So with that being said, if all of this looks correct, then we'll turn that black. It all looks correct to me. And then we'll go ahead and put the name of the trust or the position of the borrower. So the borrower is the trust. So we'll go ahead and put the name of the trust. So Loving Holdings. And then we'll put the name of the borrower, which is the name of the trust. Which is the name of the trust. So we put the name of the trust already up here. So what we can do is we can put our name as the trustee there, and then we'll put you can either leave it the way it is as duly authorized representative, or you can put as trustee of Loving Holdings Trust. Okay. So you can either type it in, and then what you're going to do is when you sign, you're going to sign your signature, and then you're going to write this on that line as well, as trustee of Loving Holdings, trust. Or you don't even have to have the word trust if you don't have the word trust. So you can put as trustee of Loving Holdings, okay? Or the name of yours. So that all looks correct to me. I'm going to go ahead and turn that black, and then we are all done with the promissory note. So now we are all done. It is 8:44. So we have a couple minutes for Q&A. So today what we did was we did our 3 board meetings for our business trust, for our private family trust, and for our ministry trust. We applied for the EIN for our business trust. We went through the requirements in order to establish trust corporate credit. And then we went and did our Dun & Bradstreet application for our DUNS number and created our credit profile for our business trust. And then we did our promissory note so that we are able to fund our bank accounts with our trust funds as soon as possible. So based off of everything that we've done, which I know it's a lot, I'm opening up the floor for Q&A. So go ahead and either put your questions in the chat or come off of mute. Raise your hand, please. I know that there's going to be some questions based off of the information that was provided this evening, okay? So let me see. The first question I'm going to go with is AEA. So I wasn't able to download this template. Where's the template? In the online portal. So if you log into the online portal and if you could scroll all the way down to the bottom to where it says resources, then it should be, you have the list of resources there. And then all the way on the bottom of that, you should see where it says promissory note. And then he said, I found it. Okay, perfect. Good, good, good. So Elaine said, I didn't see where I could download it for the promissory note. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the chat right now. So I'll put the promissory note in the chat right now. But you guys have it in the online portal. So if you go access your online portal, you go to resources, all of your templates are there. So the promissory note template is there. So thank you for that. Next is Dee. Hey, Dee, how are you?
Hey, Miss Christina, it's Danielle. How you doing?
Danielle, how are you, Queen?
I'm good. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored as always. You know how it is.
Yes, good. Good to hear. Question.
Yes, ma'am.
We're talking about for the bank ally for online truist for brick and mortar. Okay, I don't have a relationship with Ally Bank, but we do have a few stock that we bought through Ally. Can I still use Ally as my online?
Yeah, you can. You can still use them.
Okay. All right. That was my question.
That's a good question.
That's all I had.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. So glad that you're here, Miss Danielle.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for the information.
You're welcome. All right, Jessica, how are you?
Hi, Christina. Good night, everyone. Lots of information. I'm trying to keep up.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I know how it is. Yeah.
So my question is in regards to the trust, right? So I know the purpose of getting the business trust. Well, all of the trust is to, protect your assets, right? And so if we're building the credit on the business trust side, doesn't that leave us, does that leave us like a chance to be sued or like anything of that nature? Like, does that take away our protection, or should we just leave it as a holding company?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. Thank you for asking that question. So with that being said, you have to understand that with your business trust, if you're using it as a holding company, it's already going to be in the public records, because if you're using it to own an LLC, that LLC is in the public records. And so since it's already listed on the Secretary of State, then the name of the trust is going to be listed on the Secretary of State. So you're already pulling it into the commercial side. And so that is when you're establishing the business trust credit, you are also pulling it into the public records and into the commercial side. So you want to be able to designate one company or one trust that's going to be a commercial trust like that, that's going to be used for those type of purposes. So with that trust, you do not want to hold assets in that trust because it's, in the public records, because it has, business credit, which is commercial. So with that one, you don't want to hold any assets. So for example, let's just say that your LLC made $1 million, right? That $1 million is going to, because it's that $1 million is going to go to the business trust, right? And so with that being said, you don't want to hold that $1 million in the business trust, especially if it's on the commercial side, right? like you said, with the chances of being sued. So then you want to be able to move those funds to a more private account or a more a trust that is not, that is not commercially known and that is not attached to the public records or on the Secretary of State. So then you'll move it to an asset holding trust. So that could either be another business trust or it could be a private family trust where you hold those funds. Okay, I hope that helped.
Thank you.
You're welcome. AEA, is that Andres?
That's me. Yeah.
How are you? I just
Very
didn't,
good.
I didn't want to mess up. I was like, is it Andres?
Yeah, that's me. Thanks. I kind of on the same line. I'm just trying to make sure I got this straight. So with the business trust, I would be using the trust to become the owner or the officer of my S corp. And
Correct.
so like when we're setting up the EIN, I mean the trust itself won't have any employees, right? It's just an officer in a company that has employees.
Correct, exactly. So when you have a holding company, the holding company does not operate. You are 1000% correct, Andres. So your S Corp is the company that operates. Your S Corp is the company that has employees, that has account receivables, that has equipment, that, is out here dealing commercially with the public. And the holding company, which is the business trust, doesn't operate.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then, but and like with an S corp, we don't. I mean, it's not necessary to pull funds from the S corp into that trust into the holding company because they're gonna. Well, I mean, okay, now I'm looking at this from a different perspective because I've already opted out of the whole tax volunteering system. But if you would actually take the funds from the company, then the pass through, and you'd put it in the trust, and then you take into the public trust. I'm calling it the public business trust, and you take that out into a private trust, whether it's the family trust or some other private business trust. Correct?
Yeah, you don't want, yeah, and so that's for protection purposes. So that's not for any other reason of like taxes or anything like that. That's for protection purposes because if the S Corp is sued, you don't want $1 million just sitting in the corporate account, in the corporate bank account, because then it's up for grabs. So that is excess funds. So the only thing that you want in that account is funds that are going to be used for operation, right? So out of that $1 million, if you only need 200,000 for operation, then you're only going to keep 200,000, and that other 800,000 is going to be held in the holding company or in another trust.
And accountants, they know how to. I mean, it's just like doing another business tax return then, right? Because I mean, once you set up that business trust, when we just did tonight, saying that you have to file a 1041 or 10 whatever it was every year. So I mean, your accountant should know how to do that, right? I mean, it's going to be
it's identical. It's just a one pager. And if you go to the resources tab, you'll see the 1041. So you'll be able to find it there.
Okay.
And it's just like your personal taxes, your 1040. So 1040, 1041, they're very similar.
All right. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for asking that good question. Let me see. Do I have anything in the chat? I don't see anything in the chat. Any other questions? Do I have any other questions? I know we went over a lot.
One other question. I think we're going to go through it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if somebody else has about selling whether you have an LLC or an S corp. Are we doing that tomorrow?
Yes, we are. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, tomorrow we're transferring all our assets. So because your S Corp is an asset, then you are going to sell that asset into the trust. So you're not going to gift it because we want it to look like a legitimate sale. That means that you're removing yourself, from any ties to the company. So you're going to sell the business on paper to the trust. So we'll do that tomorrow, and then we'll go through an amendment, how to amend your articles of incorporation or articles of organization. So we'll go through that tomorrow. We'll also go through a quit claim deed for those of us who have land and property. We'll also go through a bill of sale for our vehicles. With the vehicles, they do need to be either free and clear, meaning that they have no lien holder, or the other way is you would have to refinance your current loan into a loan that's under the trust in order to get it into the trust. So we'll go through that, and then that will be it. And then we'll apply for our EIN for our private family trust. And then my partner will come on and he will educate us on infinite banking and show us how to open up a policy that is owned by the trust, and that makes the trust the payer and the beneficiary. So we'll also learn about that. And then that is it. So that is what we have planned for tomorrow evening. So do I have any other questions? If not, I want to let you out on time. So it's almost 9 p.m. So let me just quickly take a look here.
I have one more question, Miss Christina.
Yes, ma'am.
When you were saying for the business trust, once we go for business credit, it's going to go to the public. It's not going to be private anymore. So you were saying open up another business trust if we want the main business trust to be private and not public.
Yeah, so if you want a business trust that is private, so meaning for private purposes, that's not on the Secretary of State, or that is not listed on the on the public records dealing with credit and all that stuff. So you can do that if you want to. You don't have to, because you also have a private family trust, which is your asset holding trust. And so that is used privately. So you're not going to ever list your private family trust onto the Secretary of State, or you're not going to build business credit with your private family trust. So that entity is always intended to stay private, and it's intended to hold assets, because no one is able to search or look it up in any way, because you've never put it or listed it anywhere for anyone to know of its existence. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So that's why you can use multiple trusts within your structure, and just designate which one is for public use, where you are doing what we're talking about now, which is owning businesses and building credit, and which one is for private use, meaning you're not doing those things.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. So, so we are all done for this evening. So we have just went through our promissory note. We talked about different banks, and we went through our board meeting for establishing our bank account. So I do have homework for you guys. 2 things. So the first thing is, tomorrow we are going to be transferring our assets. And so you have received an asset inventory list. So I want you to be able to access the asset inventory list and take an inventory of your assets, because in order for you to be able to transfer assets, you need to know what assets you have. And that asset inventory list is so detailed that you might even remember assets that you think you didn't even have, like 401ks and IRAs and all this other stuff. So go ahead and go through your asset inventory list so that you're prepared tomorrow, so that you know which assets you want to transfer into your trust, and which trust you're going to be transferring those assets into. And then the other thing is, I want you to post in the Facebook group. So if you haven't joined the Facebook group, please join the Facebook group. And in the Facebook group, I want you to post and let us know which bank you are deciding to bank with for your trust accounts. Okay, so we want to know. A lot of students, they've gone with Truist, they've gone with TD Bank, they've gone with Chase, Wells Fargo. There's so many different banks. So which bank are you going to choose? And on the online portal, I do have video trainings on how to open up your trust bank account with Ally Bank. It's an online bank, so it doesn't because some of these local and national banks, they are not, nationwide. And so Ally is, and so you can actually go look at that video training teaching you how to open up that bank account for your trust, okay? And the only thing that you need is that EIN number and some information. So you can go ahead and determine which bank that you want to use in order to open up your bank account. So I will see you guys in the Facebook group, and then I will also see you here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will receive an email from Aya with all the resources and templates that you're going to need for tomorrow so that we're able to transfer your assets, okay? And then if you have any questions, drop it in the Facebook group, or you can email Aya or myself, or you can text or call the community number. So let me see here. Can you give us the Facebook information for the Facebook group? Yes, I'll go ahead and drop the link for the Facebook group in here, and then I will have Aya approve the request. Okay, so let's see here. All right, so I just put it in the chat. That is a link to the Facebook group, and I and myself, we will be approving you so that you can go ahead and post and let us know and do your introduction. So we will see you here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you will receive an email from Aya with the Zoom link. So good night, everyone. Be blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow.